We are going live, so I'm going to.
Can you give like an update on the mic of what situation?
Is it live to the radio station?
I'm gonna go listen in.
Merry Christmas, everyone. We are testing if you can hear me. So if you can hear me over your radio, please wave. Honk your horn. Honk your horn if you can hear me. Can anyone hear me? Oh, no? Tony can. Okay. Honk your horn if you can hear me. We're going to do a little reshuffling so that everybody can see. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for being flexible with this technologically advanced service. Our tech people have been here since 12:30 getting everything together. It's just that complicated. So if you'll just hang tight, enjoy your treats, and we'll get started here shortly.
Yeah, that actually wasn't through the radio. That was Shan. She has her phone going through the radio, so she's on YouTube.
Okay.
So that's what.
Yeah, because nobody else honked. So.
Because this sounded clear as a bell. It's like, well, I can hear it. But
yeah.
Shan said, no, that's the phone. Woo!
No. Got that. So plan. Okay.
Dan would like us to know that the mics are hot and everything we're saying is going over YouTube. So.
Yes, that's the point.
She said,
try again.
I heard that they can hear you. It's a little scraggly, we think, because of the wind.
Okay.
I mean, we're just going to have to just go and see what we got. If they can't, if FM is bad, they can turn on YouTube. Everybody's got a phone.
That's probably the best bet.
So we are encouraging you with the advanced technology of FM radio. If you can hear me, please honk your horn. Okay.
Nobody.
But they can hear you, so I don't understand why
They can?
Well, it may take a second because YouTube has like a little delay.
There we
Yeah.
go. All right. What a joyous sound this evening.
Yeah, when I
Merry
watch
Christmas to you all. You can hear the service on FM radio or on YouTube. So if you have YouTube on your phone, you might want to pull that up as well, because we're dealing with Mother Nature bringing us all kinds of joy this evening with the wind.
I'm just running it through YouTube.
Okay.
To the FM, so this should be fine.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what else we need? A chair.
You do need a chair, especially you. Okay, I'll go get you a chair if you want to go ahead and get all this started, okay?
Oh, wait.
Are we good to go?
Got the microphone back. You got everything right.
You want to switch them?
All right. Yeah, is Stan here?
She's the car. You know, it's supposed to be worse.
I love the festive part of it. Go ahead.
They said it was 37 high, 19 low. So we're going to be nice and cozy in our Christmas jackets.
Yeah, right.
I told the parents that we'll see you
We ready to
Saturday.
go?
We're going to stay there.
Yeah, right.
Oops.
We're doing a little rearranging in the parking lot for those of you joining us via YouTube so that everyone can see. All right, here we go.
Okay. Chip.
Good Good evening and Merry Christmas to all of us joining here and all of us online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this evening, welcome home and Merry Christmas. Let us begin.
That's heavy.
Eat the mic.
We gather together on this Christmas Eve as fellow sojourners looking for light, for hope, for peace, and for love. We gather as people from many backgrounds, many faiths, many cultures, and many spiritual paths. But as we light this chalice, we gather as one body, looking to the Nativity for its message to all of humanity. Its message is that there is light, there is hope, there is peace, there is love.
Which one do you like? I don't know if this is gonna light. Probably not in all this wind.
You can symbolically light one.
Yeah.
Good job.
Through this Advent season, this season of waiting, we have asked for patience, light, peace, and love. Now that the waiting is over, now that that which was to be has come, we light the flame of hope. Please repeat with me. We welcome the coming of the days we have waited for. We have realized hope, yet know that hope can never be realized. We commit ourselves to patience, which I could use a little bit more of right now, to working to dispel darkness, to working for peace. We commit ourselves to love and to hope. We light this flame, or at least we tried, as an end, as a beginning, as the symbol of the eternal now.
As close as you can get to the mic.
behold him, for the kingdom reigns. Let me take on let me take on let me take on hasting to his cradle, and now on single fields grow near. Lead to with gladness, with up in their footsteps, and he take on your name, and he take on your name, and he take on your name, his sing, there's of angels, sing an exaltation, oh, sing on these singers to them above. Glory to God, all glory in the highest. Let me take on your name.
That car's about to come in. You might want to come out and tell them to park over here instead of trying to go back there. Unless you're about to jump on the mic. There's a car coming. Unless you're about to jump on the mic. I don't know. Yep.
A reading from Luke's Gospel. In those days, Caesar Augustus declared that everyone throughout the empire should be enrolled in the tax lists. The first enrollment occurred when Quirinius governed Syria. Everyone went to their own cities to be enrolled. Since Joseph belonged to David's house and family line, he went up from the city of Nazareth in
figure it
Galilee
out.
to David's city called Bethlehem in Judea. He went to be enrolled together with Mary, who was promised to him in marriage and who was pregnant. While they were there, the time came for Mary to have her baby. She gave birth to her firstborn child, a son, wrapped him snugly and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the guest room.
Hey, do you have a minute?
I can hear you.
A reading from Matthew's Gospel. This is how the birth of Jesus
Good mic.
Christ took place.
Unless this is picking up.
When Mary, his
don't know
mother,
why.
was engaged to Joseph, before they were married, she
For some
became
reason, it's
pregnant
also
by the
coming in
Holy
over
Spirit.
88.7.
Joseph, her husband, was a righteous man. Because he didn't want to humiliate her, he decided to call off their engagement quietly. As he was thinking about this, an angel from the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife, because the child she carries was conceived by the Holy Spirit.
So like, I have my phone.
She will give birth to a son, and you will call him Jesus, because he
Sorry,
will
guys.
save his people from their sins." Now all of this took place so that what the Lord had spoken through the prophet would be fulfilled. Look, a young woman will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us. When Joseph woke up, he did just as an angel from God commanded and took Mary as his wife. But he didn't have sexual relations with her until after she gave birth to a son. Joseph called him Jesus. Please join together in singing Within the Shining of a Star.
quick announcement. If you are having difficulty with 87.7, please feel free to change it to 88.7. That is also working well. And now our time for all ages.
Merry Christmas. Normally I ask the children to come forward, but COVID and it's very, very cold. We won't do that. I'm going to read the first Christmas night. This is a lyrical version. Sorry, can you hear me? This is a lyrical version modeled after Frozen Night. Was the very first Christmas when all through the town, not a creature was stirring, there was not a sound. The moon shining bright and the heavens so high gave the luster of midday, the best of the sky. The animals were nestled in warm, close places, with looks of content on each of their faces. And Mary and Joseph were tired from the road, and just settled in to the home of the road. The Bethlehem stable they had traveled this year. They knew that their baby would soon be here. And the first of the men in the stable, a baby first saw. He was good and fulfilled. They said, "God." He had not a crib, but a manger instead. The tiny new baby lay back in sweet bed. Mary looked down at his cute little nose and silently counted 10 fingers, 10 toes. As shepherds kept watch on a small nearby hill, their sheep were all silent and clear and still. When suddenly in the sky there arose into sight one angel in many appeared in the night. The heavens rejoiced in their joy and joy. A baby so special has been born in this world. So the shepherds arose to search for the place to get a closer look at the baby's feet. Then out of the east there came royalty, whose mission was finding the baby. When they finally found the babe that had sought, gold, frankincense, and myrrh were the gifts they brought. So wise men bowed down and spoke with sweet things, whom they all heard. Rejoicing, and now the song, we know that without can save with delight. Jesus was born on the first. Thank you.
evening and happy holidays to you all. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. Tonight, our special offering funds the minister's discretionary fund, a descendant of the historic Parsons purse, funds donated to the cleric to be used for the good of others in the congregation or the community at large. Examples of use of this past year include help with the utility bills, daycare expenses, groceries, clothing, medical expenses, and this blessing sick. Wait a minute. Oh, the wind is killing me here. Okay, here we go. Medical expenses and helping folks through tough life transitions. In the spirit of this blessed season, we hope you will be generous. During this time of social distancing and online worship, please know that the church expenses continue. Therefore, we very much appreciate your continuing to pay your pledge or offer your donation by either mailing a check to the church office or by using PayPal or Venmo. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCB or the minister's discretionary fund. Thank you for your generous support of our church. May we give in love and in hope.
I was a child, he seemed much closer to me. One moonlight star from the child of Galilee. Where is the joy of that tiny boy? And where's the laughter and glee? Where's the delight of this holy night? And where's the child in me? Why should we lose all the happiness of caroling? And who should refuse all the joyous seasons love can bring? When did I grow too old to remember all of the joys that comes in December? Where is the child, the innocent child? Can I be beguiled? Find me. What do I hear? Sound faint but clear. Do angels still sing their song? No, I can find that child's peace of mind. Make me a child again tonight. And all my life long.
James. Thank you to all of our wonderful musicians and participants tonight who are braving this wonderful weather to bring you this magical service. Thank you, James. For our meditation time this evening, I would invite you to remember a couple of our folks in your hearts and minds this week, especially during these holiday times. We especially like to lift up Mary House Kessler, who lost her partner of 22 years, Pat, on Sunday. So please keep Mary in your thoughts and prayers and reach out to her as you will. We also lift up Deborah Burrell, who lost her mother last week. Continued to lift up Deborah and Mike. And as I've mentioned before, Sandy Smith is still sitting hospice with her mother in North Carolina, I believe. So please keep all of these folks in your thoughts and minds, especially during this holiday season. For the folks on YouTube, if you would like to add anything to any joys and concerns that you have to the chat, please do so now. We will look at those later, but please feel free to encourage one another and to share what's on your heart and on your mind. And for those of you here with us tonight in the parking lot, if you have concerns that you would like us to know about and would like me to share in our January 3rd service, please feel free to email those to me. As a reminder, before I forget, the December 27th service, we are encouraging you to visit another UU church virtually. And so you will be traveling from the comfort of your living room, and we hope it will be an exciting time of trying something different. So there is an email that you have giving you some options, but you can choose whatever you would like. Our meditation this evening is by Mary Ellen. Like those shepherds who were on the hillsides with their flocks, like those wise ones in their observatories with their telescopes and astronomical charts, we find our daily work interrupted by these holidays. Like them, we can't keep on working. We have to listen to singing angels. We have to deal with the call of that special star. The little town of Bethlehem is thronged with people who have come to be taxed, crowding streets and shops, and we have to find our way to an unknown place where a wonderful new beginning awaits. What precious new beginning are you seeking this night? For what do you push through the crowds? For what do you sit in a parking lot with your loved ones that you go to church with or get online with to be flexible? What have the angels told you? What is the call of the star? Amen and blessed be.
Joy,
This reading was written by Reverend Dan Schatz called Perfect Love. It was quiet enough in the alley behind the barn, warm against the piles of hay, despite the winter chill. I heard the sharpness in her breathing. It's coming, and I held her against the cold, against the pain, against it all. It's coming. They were hard, those first hours we all spent together, coming after a long journey. Later, poets would tell of stars, shepherds, and seers, songs of angels. But all that I remember at the end of that longest night is the cry of my heart as in my arms I held perfect love.
Angels standing near thee to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth to all goodwill, from heaven news we bring. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly plains they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its fabled sounds the blessed angels sing. But with the woes of war and strife the world has suffered long. Beneath the angels' reign have ruled 2,000 years of wrong. And we who fight the wars hear not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise of battle strife, and hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet gods foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world give back the song which now the angels sing. One of the most notable images of this sacred night is that of the nativity scene. A baby sleeping peacefully on a bed of straw, surrounded by his parents, some animals, and various visitors. From the poorest of shepherds to the wealthy, exotic astrologers. As I discussed at last year's Christmas Eve service, there is a prominent omission: the absence of the woman who clearly was there to help Mary give birth. A historical likelihood in a culture where men are forbidden with helping with the uncleanliness of childbirth. This year, I want to focus on the stillness of that sacred scene, because even amidst the historical nuances, there is a comfort to look at the center of that scene, to see a sleeping baby surrounded by love and adoration, carrying the hopes and dreams of his parents, a moment every baby deserves to have. The comfort of that stillness depicted in the nativity scene only reflects a few moments in time. The comfort is not automatic. That comfort was earned, as it usually is. 2 years ago in August, I was the new minister to this church, and as many of you remember, I was 8.5 months pregnant. On a Saturday night, my husband Josh and older child heard a horrifying scream from the other room. They ran to my aid. I was able to mouth, "It's time," and we managed to get outside. Josh grabbed the hospital bag, which he had meticulously packed, and we went to the maternity ER. I tried to explain to my fetus that as a pastor's child, acting up on Saturday night is never a good idea. Please do not do this in the future. And I had to preach the next day. The doctors agreed to give me 1 shot of medicine to try and stall labor, but they said they couldn't give any more. It was too close to the delivery date. And if my fetus continued acting up, I would deliver that night. I sat there with my phone in hand, ready to call a church member, and the world seemed to stand still as I waited for either the medicine to work or to deliver this baby. I knew all too well from my time working at the hospital that an early arrival at that stage would still add the neonatal ICU to our hospital plan. As our then 4-year-old slept in the hospital recliner next to the bed, we wondered what the future would bring. But Ezio did not arrive that night. 3 weeks later, we arrived at the hospital for our scheduled C-section, grandparents in tow, ready to welcome the little one to the world. Stretched out in that surgical suite, ready for the trauma that is childbirth, even on a good day, I listened for the sound that every parent wants to hear, the first cry. I waited and waited. My doctor told me the baby is out. Still no cry. I held my breath for what seemed like ages. What was wrong? Why weren't the medical team telling me anything? They moved the baby to the baby station at the side of the room. The nurses all huddled around. Still not a peep. I was legitimately freaking out at this point, as my husband can attest. But I'm not sure which neonatal test angered him. But finally, there was a cry heard throughout the room. I breathed a sigh of relief. When I considered our theme of stillness for this evening, and this pandemic time where so many sages and wise people have advocated stillness in ourselves, I was overwhelmed by examples of where stillness was neither comforting nor peaceful. The stillness as we await test results. The stillness as we wait in a waiting room to see a loved one. The deafening silence of wishing to be next to someone that you cannot see right now because of COVID. Yet in the midst of this traumatic time, I've heard over and over again, enjoy the stillness, enjoy the rest, enjoy the peace. This nativity scene is a comforting image of stillness and peace. But what it doesn't portray is what happened immediately before this. The labor, the screaming, the intentional breathtaking, the trauma to the mother and the baby as the child was born. The nativity scene doesn't depict the blood, sweat, and tears or the effort it took to get to this mystical scene. The stillness depicted in the nativity scene is only a comfort because the nativity scene is post-birth, post-trauma. Because the comfort of stillness doesn't come out of thin air. It's not something we could conjure in the midst of a traumatic event without superhuman effort. The comfort of stillness comes after overcoming the trauma together, when we can see the other side of the mountain, the end of the tunnel, the hope that everything is possible again. When we can see the breath of the baby and fill its tummy with food and watch it sleep. That is what we celebrate on this sacred night. All of the variables that allowed a teenage mother to give birth to a baby thousands of years ago without access to health care or even a germ-free environment, surrounded by livestock. And that baby lived. Even with all of our technology today, we are still unable to guarantee a parent will have a healthy baby. Jesus' birth was a miracle, defined by Merriam-Webster as a highly improbable or extraordinary event, development, or accomplishment that brings very welcome consequences. As we celebrate in this community, the birth of every baby is a miracle. And every baby brings with it the upending force within a family unit of creating a new normal. Furniture rearranged, safety measures installed, new methods of feeding and bathing and resting and living than the parents anticipated. We've had 3 babies born at our church this fall: Nora, Porter, and Thomas. And all of their parents could tell you what a learning curve it is, even with all the books and the grandparents and the wisdom of everyone. They've all had to find a new normal. This pandemic, in many ways, has been a time of pregnancy for our church. We are still here, struggling with discomfort and safety measures, with murmurings of new life growing within our community in this digital space. We talk of hope for when we are back together physically, knowing already that our union will be bittersweet, having lost those we love, and also the joy of gaining new friends. We go into the future knowing we are going into it together, and that even a global pandemic cannot keep us apart. And that is what we celebrate tonight. For many years to come, we will look back on this pandemic time, on this weird Christmas Eve service, and we will brag about how we made it through, despite the grief and the loss and the suffering and the loneliness and the isolation. We will emerge with a new normal, a new appreciation for church gatherings and seeing one another in person. This baby in the manger grew up to create a new normal that would spread around the world. In one of his famous teachings, Jesus told his disciples that if they were not welcomed or appreciated, that they should shake off the dust as they left that place. For many of us, as we celebrate the holidays and then leave the year 2020, we want to shake off the dust. We want to move into 2021 and forget this even happened. But we all know that the superficial changing of the year will not rid us of this virus or mask wearing or social distancing for quite some time. Even still, 2021 carries with it so much hope and possibility because we are more knowledgeable. We know so much more about what we are dealing with than we did in March 2020. We know how to stop the spread, how to survive being more isolated, and where we rank on the vaccine list. This pandemic is no longer shrouded in mystery, but with concrete steps moving forward about how we will come together as a community to prevent spread and also an in-person reunion. Just like Yule, the longest night, we know that the sun and spring are on the horizon as we can see glimmers of sunbeams peeking out at us. So let us find comfort in the stillness. Let us find comfort in our knowledge, in looking back on what we have been through this year. Let us find courage, just like the protagonist in a Michael Bay movie, who is walking away without looking back as a large explosion erupts behind them. That is how we need to enter 2021. This calendar year will never come back again, but the lessons that it has taught us to be creative, to be flexible, to connect to each other in new ways, to look people in the eye because we have no other option. All of these lessons bring the promise of deepening our connections to each other. Tonight, we celebrate new possibility, new life, new connections, new hope, exemplified in the birth of the baby from Nazareth. Let us celebrate the comfort of stillness. Amen.
Let's all now turn on our candles and sing Silent Night together.
Come here.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round your virgin mother and child, holy infants of tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory stream from heaven as light, and behold, sing hallelujah. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night,
I give the benediction, if you would please offer some appreciation for all of our participants this evening, our tech crew, everyone, by honking your horns, by applauding. They have been an amazing help this evening. Thank you all. Thank you. I'd also... I love hearing all of your car horns. It's amazing. I'd also like to offer appreciation if you're enjoying your treats in your car. My adorable son Stark put this together for you. So thank you to Stark. We love you. All right, the benediction. The Spirit of the Holy dwells in each of us. The Spirit of love dwells in each of us. May the flames in our hands remind us that eternal love dwells in our hearts. May the flames in our hands remind us that the Spirit of life dwells among us as we gather as a faith community. May the flames in our hands remind us that the arc of the universe needs our embodied love and faith to bend toward justice. With that, you may blow out your candle or turn off your candle as you wish. Before you all head out, please be sure to drive back through the fire lane. You are welcome to keep your candles as you wish, but that way we have an organized line going out. I think we also have some extra treat bags if anyone would like one. And please be sure to wave to one another. Thank you so much for being here, and have a Merry Christmas. Good job. Good job.
Wait.